Hey, welcome back to my video series, What I've Learned in My 20 plus years of working with Fortune 500 leaders. I'm going to be sharing those things so that hopefully you can avoid their mistakes. So I was doing a one-day program with a group of leaders, and we had just been talking about how they defined success in their lives. And then I shared the results of their resiliency assessment, and it showed what it usually shows. Leaders that their physical resilience is the lowest, they are overworked, they're overwhelmed, not super resilient. And so I posed the question, what is this resiliency data showing you that you've been neglecting or not wanting to hear in your life? And so on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rank how well you're doing with your health, your romantic relationships, your kids, your personal pursuits, your career. And when the time was up, I asked if anybody would be willing to share what they wrote. And it's always dead silent at this point, and nobody's making eye contact with me. But one brave soul offered to share what he wrote about the rankings that he gave himself. And I want to read this verbatim to you. He said, "First, I want to read to everybody how I define success. Success to me is having a marriage that has gotten better, not worse, over the years. Kids that I actually know, what they think, what they're afraid of, who they're becoming. A body that I take care of, not because I have to, but I want to be here for the next 30 years of my life. I want a few real friends. I want work that I'm proud of, and a sense that the time I spent on this earth was something larger than my own resume." And then he said, "You know, when I look at the reality, the data, the ranking that I just gave myself, I am failing on 4 out of the 5 ways that I define success in my life." And then he said, "Don't get me wrong, the career part really matters to me. I love what I do. I love what I've built. But there's more to my life than that." And he said, "So my wife, I love her to pieces, but we share a home. We don't really share a life. Our relationship is about managing schedules, and it's kind of like she has her own and I have mine. My grown son lives in Denver, and I called him just to say hi, and when he answered the phone, he immediately asked, 'What's wrong?' And I was like, 'Nothing. I just called to talk to you.' And my son sounded really relieved, and then he said, 'I'm just about to walk into a meeting. I'll call you back later tonight.' And he never called back. And then he said, 'I'm 35 pounds overweight, and I'm on 4 different medications. I haven't worked out in easily 5 years.' Then he paused, and he said, 'None of these realizations are new to me. I've known about this, and I continue to just make excuses. I tell myself that I've still got time.' And when I kind of asked him some more questions, I said, I'm picking up on some strong emotion. And he was like, 'I'm very angry. I am very angry with myself for not acknowledging what's been going on and not doing anything about it.' And then there was a little bit more discussion, but then the CFO said, 'Well, I basically wrote almost the exact same story.' And I looked around the room, and there were a lot of heads nodding, that there was a lot of similarities to what they had just experienced. Here's the part that a lot of executives don't think about. You will outlive your career if you're lucky. Most people retire somewhere between 55 and 70, but your body and your relationships are what you're going to have for the following 20 to 30 years after. The investments that you're making right now in your fitness, your relationships with your kids are really the only things that are going to outlast your career. And so often, the same executives that would never miss a meeting continually cancel on themselves or the people that they care about in their personal lives. You will not start when things settle down. Things never settle down. You will start when you put things on your calendar and start protecting them like they matter, like a lot of the other things in your life. Your body and your relationships are the two things that you cannot buy back. You have to prioritize your sleep, your workouts, your nutrition, your relationship with your significant other, with your kids, monthly date nights, quarterly one-on-ones with your kids. When you put things on your calendar, that's when they actually come to life and they start to exist. I think a lot of people tell me, Jenny, I've already got so much structure in my professional life. I don't want structure in my personal life. But then we talk about, well, why are you so successful in your professional life? Because you have structure and accountability. Every executive eventually becomes a former executive. And what really matters is what you have on the day after that happens.